Good morning, bună dimineața, and goedemorgen. Welcome to our event, Are We Ready for the Green Transition? The next decade will be decisive for our future as a species. The actions we take today and that we will take in the next years will decide the foundation that we leave for the younger generations. Is the foundation that we are building strong and sustainable? Well, we are here to find out exactly that. My name is Alex Glod, and together with Mr. Arie Veldhuizen, who is a counselor for agriculture at the Embassy for the Kingdom of the Netherlands, we will discuss today about whether we are ready for the green transition and how well these two countries are working together to achieve this incredible goal. And together with also Groenpak, which we are thanking for their collaboration, we are bringing a plethora of ideas, of subjects that I believe will open our perspectives and will help us understand how we can make better decisions today. Now, Arie, I would like to start by knowing from your side, why do you believe that we need to talk about the green transition? Why is this subject so important?
Last year, we all worked from home, watching all kind of seminars, webinars, farminars, climate summits. Last January, we had a climate summit in the Netherlands. In November, we have one in Glasgow again. And the advantage of watching all these information and take it to you is that many people are seeing better and better the urgency of taking actions. Because we face a lot of challenges, not only the climate, but also food security, food safety, urbanization, and how can we match all these challenges together with each other. It's worldwide, but individual countries are having their own specific challenges. What is the key to come to solutions together? We think you have to work together as countries, bilateral, but maybe in regions. And we are talking here today about the bilateral cooperation between the Netherlands and Romania in the fields of agricultural education, in the field of urbanization and green cities, and in the field of circular agriculture. And why are we working together? Because we are complementary to each other. In the Netherlands, we live in a small country on a kind of a stamp, and we have very efficient food production because of that. But efficient food production requires also knowledge and technology. That's what we have. Romania is a beautiful country with lots of space and also a very nice and very good fit for food production. Maybe we can find each other to find the solutions for both our countries. That's why we're here together, Alex, and I thank you very much to give me the floor.
You're welcome, and that is a good reason for us to be here. Our team has put together a video to give you a glimpse into the topics of today, so let us have a look together. As you can see, we have a great deal of great topics waiting for us. And to give you once again a short overview, we'll talk about agriculture education, how both our countries are working together to educate the new generation for the green transition. We will talk about circular agriculture and its role in sustainable development. We'll talk about green urban landscapes, something that I believe all urban dwellers are very passionate about. And of course, we're going to talk about how to work together in the subject of Together We Are Stronger. And to help us, we have a wonderful collection of guests, first here in the studio, but also online from different parts of the continent. First, here in the studio, we have the honor of welcoming Mr. Laszlo Barberi, who is a state councillor and coordinator of the Department for Sustainable Development in the government of Romania and a main advocate for sustainable development here in Romania. Thank you, sir, for being with us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. And we are brave, the Dutch embassy and all of us, we are brave without mask, yes. We are negative regarding COVID tests, but we are positive regarding SDGs and circular agriculture and other issues. So we have to be positive energy. And so, you know, last year we were physically at the parking station on a mall with these beautiful pictures and beautiful and ambitious teams, about 5 or 6 teams from different universities, and they're about circular economy, about how they are thinking to do more for this. And just 2 weeks ago, I discussed with those who were the winners, as I remember, at MOXA, the Academy of Study Economic, on the top of the building to create a green space for those who are eating in this is the building. So, yes, yes. And if we ask about we are ready or not, you know, I'm teaching visiting professor to Academy of Economic Science, and of course online with about 100 students, and every morning, because you know it's difficult in the morning to wake up, and I ask them at the beginning of the meeting, do you like rock music? I like rock music, AC/DC and others. And I ask them what they are telling when they start the concert. Are you ready? So it's your slogan of
yes,
yes, I think we are ready for sure in the studio, and others, we are ready, yes. We are ready, but we have to do more. And that's why
and that's
I am
what
very
we're going to talk about today.
honored to be here, and I share my a little bit about circular agriculture, because we are implementing the Agenda 2030, and a very important topic is circular agriculture. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well very much. Our next guest is Mihai Coman, General Director of the Research Development Institute for Fruit Growing in Pitești-Mărcineni. Thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you too for inviting me, and together with me I came with the fruit growing industry and I came directly from the field. Thank you for inviting.
We're happy to have you here, sir. Thank you very much. And also we have Diana Zaharia, a category group manager for Mega Image. Thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you also for inviting me. It is really an honor to be present here with you. And I also thinking that the knowledge and expertise of Holland will help a lot of Romanian growers.
Indeed, and I also would agree that our knowledge is also useful for our Dutch counterparts, definitely.
Yes.
But these are not our only guests here today, because we have a lot of guests joining online. From Romania, we have a select group of guests. First of all, we have Camelia Ghețu, Head of Vocational Training and Quality Assurance Programs at the National Center for the Development of Vocational and Technical Education. We have Marinela Culea, representing the Agricultural High School Education Association and Cezar Nicolau High School. We have Nicoleta Dragomir, representing Agricultural High School Education Association, Association for the Support of Pre-University Agriculture Education, and FERMA. We'll have Modena Diaconu, master's student at ASE University of Economic Studies, who will present a wonderful report on circular agriculture. We have Florentina Nanu from the Center of Excellence for Agri-Food, Educational Resources and Sustainable Development. We'll have Victor Dijkshorn from Vic Landscapes and Remi Lube from Malter BV, who will be also presenting from the field here in Bucharest. Now, these are the people we have here in the country, but all the way from the land of blooming tulips and daily biking commutes, we are happy to also welcome Arie Veldhuizen, who is a General Director in the Ministry of Agriculture, Nature and Food Quality for the Netherlands, and Jan Stevering, representing Greenpact and Zone College. Welcome to all of you once again. We're happy to have everyone connected and live here today. Now that the stage is set, let's get this show on the road with our first subject. Our first big topic is agricultural education. Over 12,000 years ago, our ancestors decided to leave the nomad life behind and start a new way of living, a new way of organizing. The agricultural revolution has laid the foundation for human civilization the way we know it today. And one of the good things we've implemented since then is how we passed it on to other generations, through apprenticeship, through practical learning, through mentoring. Now, 12,000 years later, how good are we at agricultural education? Well, let's find out. We will first start with a statement from one of our main partners coming from the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, and we will have a statement from Mr. Marius Micu, State Secretary in the Ministry. Let us watch.
Doamnelor și domnilor participanți și invitați, în primul rând doresc să mulțumesc excelenței sale, domnului Roelof van Eijs, ambasador al Regatului Țărilor de Jos la București, domnului Arie Veldhuizen, consilier pentru agricultură la Ambasada Olandei la București, precum și celorlalți membri și colaboratori ai ambasadei și reprezentanți ai Ministerului Agriculturii, Naturii și Calității Alimentelor din Olanda, pentru organizarea acestui eveniment important în vederea dezvoltării colaborării dintre cele două state, pe teme importante cum ar fi dezvoltarea durabilă a agriculturii în ambele țări, promovarea educației agricole cu accentul pe educația verde, economia circulară și agricultura urbană. Cunoaștem experiența Olandei în domeniul învățământului agricol și în special în domeniul educației agricole. De aceea, ministerul pe care îl reprezint a încheiat la sfârșitul anului 2019 un parteneriat român-olandez pe tema educației agricole la nivel de liceu agricol. În cadrul parteneriatului ne-am fixat ca obiectiv promovarea experienței olandeze pentru relansarea și modernizarea educației agricole din România, în special la nivelul învățământului liceal agricol și al învățământului profesional în sistem dual. Creșterea eficienței acesteia printr-un mai bun schimb de cunoștințe, comunicare și colaborare atât la nivelul celor două ministere de profil, cât și la nivelul liceelor agricole. De asemenea, susținem dezvoltarea de parteneriate între fermieri și unitățile de învățământ pentru efectuarea stagiilor de practică, prevăzute în programa școlară, cu implicarea operatorilor sau fermierilor în elaborarea curiculumului de dezvoltare locală pentru armonizarea competențelor dezvoltate în școală la cerințele pieței locale, precum și dezvoltarea de parteneriate pentru extinderea învățământului dual în calificări de interes pentru domeniul agroalimentar, în unități de învățământ de profil.
That has been a wonderful message, and we're happy to have the Ministry of Development and Rural Agriculture here to help us in this ideal. And because at the end of the day, we cannot do this alone. And we're going to start this discussion by connecting to our guest from the Netherlands, Jan Stevering. I hope he can hear us and he is connected with us here today. Because I would like to start off by asking a little bit of the perspective in the grassroots. Because Jan, you are a teacher in an agricultural high school. You also are representative of an Agri-Education Alliance in the Netherlands. From your point of view, what is the successful approach for growing this new generation of young professionals working in agriculture?
Yes, Alex, thank you very much. It is our strong belief as Dutch educational institutes that we should always look at the jobs that our students are going to have in the future. So if they want to be a farm worker, if they want to be a entrepreneur, if they want to be... I'm not muted.
So
Can you hear me?
Just a moment, we seem
I'm
to
not
have
muted.
There we go, we can hear you now.
You hear
Can you
me?
hear us, Jan? Yes, yes.
Yes, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I think I'll start all over again. Sorry
Please
for
do.
that.
No worries.
Okay. What I was trying to explain is that it is my strong belief that our students should always focus on the jobs that they will have in the future. So we are not merely based on education and on the curriculum that we have to follow, but we are always looking outside. What are farms doing at the moment? What is the business doing at this moment? What is the future perspective for our students? So we try to build a very close relationship.
All right, I seem to have lost connection with Mr. Jan.
That's a pity.
Right?
I can see you now. I see the studio.
There we
I
go.
hear you.
Yes, please continue.
Okay. Relationship with the agro industry. So we try to find internships for our students. We try to find future jobs for our students. Am I lost again?
No.
No. We have you here.
Okay, sorry. It's a bit complicated like this. What we do is we look at what the industry wants, and that is what we try to cater for. So we are not looking internally at the curriculum only and at the teaching subjects that we offer, but we are also looking at what the industry needs, and that is how we prepare our students by having internships, having projects in the businesses, etc., etc. But maybe it is good that we watch a small video. We have prepared a small video to show what green education in the Netherlands is like.
All right, let's do that. Thank you.
Wil jij werken op een varkens-, pluimvee- of melkveehouderij of daar leiding of advies geven? En wil je goed leren inspelen op alle nieuwe ontwikkelingen binnen de sector? Dan is de opleiding veehouderij iets voor jou. Je leert veel in de praktijk bij agrarische bedrijven in de regio. En laten je ook kennis maken met thema's waar je als toekomstig agrariër of medewerker in de sector mee te maken hebt. Kortom, we leiden je op tot een professional in de agrarische sector.
Ik zit in Doetinchem school. Daar word je opgeleid, kun je worden opgeleid voor niveau 2, 3 en 4. 2 is werknemer en niveau 3 is vakbekwaam, georganiseerd loonwerk.
Tijdens mijn stage voer ik de koeien, help ik met melken en nog veel meer. Je leert van alles over gezondheid en ziektes bij vee. En goed leren trekkerrijden, dat hoort er ook bij. En alles wat ik in de praktijk doe, leer ik hier op school. Naast vakken over dier en gewas hebben we ook algemene vakken, zoals Engels en economie. Dat doen we op school, maar ook op praktijklocaties, zoals hier, de hygiëne en de diergezondheid.
Wat ik zo leuk vind aan deze school is dat je iedere dag praktisch bezig bent. Je bent veel met dieren bezig en iedereen kent elkaar en het is klein en gezellig.
Welke praktijkvakken krijg je naast de AVO-vakken?
Naast de theorievakken geven we hier op het Welland de praktijkvakken, want we vinden leren doen heel belangrijk. We hebben bloemschikken, voed, groenvoorziening en uiteraard dierhouderij zoals je hier kunt zien. Naast de praktijkvakken hebben we ook de keuzevakken. We vinden het belangrijk dat kinderen keuzes kunnen maken en dat we inspelen op hun interesse en hun belevingswereld. Zo kun je denken aan LO2 en de sportklas voor leerlingen die heel sportief zijn en robotica voor leerlingen die techniek erg leuk vinden en met hun handen graag willen werken.
En wat maakt deze school nu zo bijzonder?
Deze school is zo bijzonder omdat het een kleine, veilige en vooral gezellige school is. We hebben een ontzettend betrokken en enthousiast docententeam dat heel veel aandacht heeft voor onze leerlingen. En daarnaast is deze school bijzonder en uniek omdat wij leren in een prachtige, mooie groene omgeving.
Dit waren de antwoorden op de meest gestelde vragen. Wil je nog meer informatie? Ga dan naar wellandklaaswaal.nl.
Now that we've seen how the Netherlands approaches agriculture education in high schools, let's see how's the situation here in Romania. Therefore, my next question will go to Marinela Culea, and my question is, I've seen in this video that there is a strong incentive towards collaboration between the agribusiness sector and the high schools. And I'm wondering, how close is this connection here in Romania? How well are these two groups working together? And if not, what can we do to make this collaboration better?
Hello, I'm glad to be with you today. For a start, I want you to forgive me for any mistake in English. Cezar Nicolau Technological High School in Brănești, together with other high school with a predominantly agricultural profile, is a partner in the Growing Truth Agricultural Education program developed by a consortium of non-governmental organizations, including World Vision Romania Foundation, Junior Achievement Romania, Civitas Foundation for Society Civil, and of course the Romanian Center for European Policies. Through this program, you try to create a close link with the agribusiness sector through several initiatives such as organizing round tables with representatives of the agribusiness environment to conclude partnership or practice, organizing study visit on the value chain for students on real farms and at commercial agents, entrepreneurship education course and annual competition, Company of the Years, where representatives of agribusiness environment are also invited, and carrying out promotion campaign through which the high school will become known in the community and implicitly in the local agribusiness environment. The Romanian Center for European Policies realized a study regarding how can revitalize the vocational and technical agriculture education in Romania, from which I can extract. If you look strictly at the dual education in agriculture, it has difficulties, provide more difficult to apply in agriculture than in technical industrial specialization. Maybe because the class of students is made up of 24 pupils, they can have at most 3 different qualifications. This would mean that an economic agent should conclude such a partnership with the school for 8 students, which is very difficult given the low logistical, human and economic capacity of farms and agro-industrial companies in Romania. What I would point out is that collaboration with farm can be done step by step to gain trust and get to each other better. For example, first the study visit, then the practice, then the curriculum developed for real, then dual. Maybe teacher training, I know. It is necessary for the two sectors to make friends better. And for this friendship, it takes a little more time and more context in which to know each other.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you very much for your contribution. And I will say, I think you've done a great job. I don't think you need to be nervous about your level of English. You've done a good job. So thank you very much.
I'm very nervous.
Well, it's normal. It's part of the job, I guess.
Okay.
I would like to know, and this is where I would move to Nicoleta Dragomir, because I know she has a very good knowledge of what's happening between these two sectors. Nicoleta, can you give us some examples of good case practices that we see between the agribusiness sector and high schools in Romania, so that we know what is it that we can learn from them?
Thank you for inviting me. As in case of agriculture, Romania has a huge potential in terms of agricultural university education, but I think this is not sufficient exploit. I support the establishment of an institution similar to the Dutch one to coordinate and mediate the collaboration between the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Agriculture, high schools, and the agribusiness company. By the end of high school, we think the students must acquire basic knowledge in agriculture, but they also have to learn about advanced technologies and innovations. All this is not possible without collaborations between research, farmers, authorities, and high schools to find appropriate solutions for agricultural students' practice. Today, unfortunately, the reality beats the very good past of agricultural high schools in Romania, and the practice is limited to the existing resources in high schools and to the few partnerships with the economic agent. Because although the entire agricultural community is complaining about the lack of skilled workers, there are a few who lend a helping hand to specialized high schools when it comes to student practice. Fortunately, I know many examples of good practice in high schools where local companies are actively involved in students' practice. Let's not forget one of the most important things is to connect the educational offer in agricultural high schools with the demand on the local labor market. And for example, we have, I think, all our over 50 high schools in Romania has good collaboration with local agribusiness companies, but not so much with the farm sector. And that is why one of the main objectives of the Association for the Support of the University Agricultural Education is to bring together high school students, universities, professional associations of farmers, and agribusiness companies through partnerships to ensure the best conditions for applied studies. And this is our main goal, and together with the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Agriculture, I think we'll deal with it in the next future.
Indeed, indeed. And we're happy to hear that there are good things that we can, at least we count on that they are going well, but of course there are always things that we can improve, and luckily there are people working on that. And here I would love to connect to Carmen Ghețu, because from what I know, there are some interesting plans now that we're talking about the national plans of recovery and resilience, but also there is an interesting project called Reconnect that they are developing and implementing this year and the next year, which aims to help and improve agriculture education. So Carmen, can you tell us a little bit of what is happening behind the scenes and what are your ambitions?
Yes, of course. Thank you for inviting National Center for Vet Development to discuss about agriculture education in a green context. So our main concern is to adapt the development of Romanian vet system to the requirements of the labor market. So in the next 2 years, we will implement the Reconnect project, adaptation to change, integrated mechanisms for anticipation, monitoring, and labor market and education assessment. This project will be implemented within a strong partnership between relevant organizations and relevant institutions as National Employment Agency, Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, of course, Ministry of Education, National Center for Vet Development, and National Scientific Research Institute for Labor and Social Protection, and I think I don't miss anybody. The objective of the project is to correlate the demand with the labor supply by introducing new tools and mechanisms for monitoring and evaluating public policies and, very important, anticipating skill needs. We will develop 3 mechanisms. A mechanism for evaluating and monitoring public policies on active measures for vocational training. So vocational training to be carried out on the basis of concrete requirements of employers and the available workforce can be integrated into the labor market quickly and employment be for long term and sustainable. I would like to highlight the second mechanism, maybe the most important from our point of view, a national mechanism for anticipating the skills need on the labor market, that taking into consideration that economic development is always accompanied by change in the structure of skills. We are talking in this meeting about green, we are talking about circular economy, we are talking about urban greening, but what are the competencies required by the employers in order to reach this goal? And the answer of this question will be offered by the mechanism that we will develop. We want to develop qualification, and it is possible to introduce new qualifications or reviewing the existing one with the green component, but it is necessary for employers to define what competencies are they expected from that graduates. So this is the main issue of this mechanism that we want to develop and implement. Not only for initial vocational educational training, but also for continuous VET.
Indeed.
And another very important mechanism that we will design is related to the monitoring of professional VET insertion of VET graduates in order to identify the necessary solution for adapting the educational offer in all Romanian regions in order to have a very good schooling plans design, or to calibrate the school offer.
Indeed. Yes.
Especially for adapting the curriculum so that graduate skills meet the needs of labor market.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution. Unfortunately, we can't go into too much more detail due to our strict schedule.
Okay.
But we thank you for the time. Yes.
Yes, if any other questions will be addressed, I can answer, or I can send a text message and so on.
Yes, we will have a Q&A section at the end, so hopefully we'll have questions addressed to that. Thank you very much. We're going to come back to Jan, because you mentioned a very important subject, and that was the cooperation with the academic sector. And I was wondering if you can tell us how does that work in practice in the Netherlands, so that we can have a bit of a parallel with how it works here in Romania.
Okay, thank you. Interesting question. For me personally, I am representing vocational education. So most of our students will directly go to the labor markets, either as workers or as managers, but also quite a substantial percentage, I don't know exactly, but it's up to 30% of our students will continue education in the university. As you may know, the Netherlands has one of the most renowned agricultural universities in the world, Wageningen University, but we also have a large number of universities for applied sciences, in which many of our students will continue their education. We are also engaged in projects together where students of higher education or of university education and vocational education work together in research projects where our students are more involved in the daily implementation of activities, and the university students are more in the processing of the research results, etc. But we form a very close network, and introduced me as being the chair of the country table for Romania, and there we also have VET education, VET institutes and universities of applied sciences sitting at the same table. So we have very close cooperation.
Thank you very much, Jan. I'd like to address a question to Karen Veldhuizen. Arie, I think I would love to give you the stage for this question.
Thank you, Alex. I'm impressed, by the way, by your knowledge of agriculture in these 3 weeks. It took me already 20 years to get all this knowledge. But Karen Veldhuizen is my colleague from the Ministry of Agriculture. I have a question for you. The Netherlands has a good reputation when it comes to the golden triangle, the gouden driehoek, the strong bond and collaboration between the authorities, academic institutions and the agri-business sector. What makes this golden triangle work, and what lessons can we learn from the way the Netherlands have managed to foster such collaborations?
Okay, thank you very much, Arie, and also thank you for inviting me, and good morning to you all. I think what makes Groen Pact, the Green Pact, it's called in English, work, is I think actually a joint sense of urgency, also the need to change. For the Netherlands, this was related to addressing important societal challenges such as climate change, biodiversity, but also the need to promote sustainable agriculture, to promote circular agriculture. And I think it's also important that all relevant stakeholders that are part of our agricultural system share this sense of urgency. And I think it's also important to bring these stakeholders together, raise awareness, and also stress the importance of long-term mutual benefits, but with respect for the different interests and perspectives of these stakeholders. So I think this sense of urgency is really important to work together, and will also make an important success. I think a second important factor is the need to develop also a long-term vision together. Where are we going to? What are our objectives? Where do we want to go? And also to stress the importance of cooperation between governments, education institutions, and private sector. And I think it's also good to know that the Netherlands has, of course, a long history in such kind of cooperation. In our fight against water, inland and coastal floods, we need to work together and control this water by a very efficient system of regional cooperation, also involving stakeholders. So we are kind of used to this type of cooperation. And I think a third aspect, in addition to promoting and developing this vision, it's also important to organize institutional cooperation between those parties, both at administrative level, but also at the managerial and operational level. It's really very important to define needs, specific themes that need attention, set concrete objectives, and also organize the cooperation by means of working groups around all these themes to make it happen. And I think in that sense, the Green Pact is a very good example. We started with this cooperation since 2015-16 as a result of this growing sense of urgency. And for education, we developed a specific agenda for green education, also to keep abreast with labor market needs, because I think in the Netherlands, like in Romania, our population is aging. There's a limited interest sometimes among young people to get education in agriculture or in nature-related themes, and also to work in those sectors. So this is also, the human capital agenda is also a very important aspect of this joint agenda.
I couldn't agree more, and I appreciate the fact that you talk a great deal about urgency, because urgency is an important element, not just because of we have to focus on education for the younger generations, we have to focus on education for the current producers. And I would love to address the next question to Mr. Coman, because you manage the only research institute for fruit growing here in Romania, where this approach was implemented in practice in bilateral partnership, and I'm curious, can you tell us more about it, and how does it work for the Romanian food growers?
Yes, indeed, I am representing a departmental institution, which belongs to the Academy of Agricultural Sciences from Romania, but we are very linked relationship with universities and high school, of course. Thanks to relationships started by me and Arie 8 years ago, we managed to gather a platform, especially for the practice in agriculture field, in horticulture field, and focused especially on fruit industry. This platform means, as an simple explanation, some demonstrative plot which inside of them we tried to include all diversity, genetic diversity, some about techniques, different techniques, and smart agriculture if it's possible. This developed in this period of time, and many young person coming from different levels, starting with high school till PhD. That is now we runs, and now we are focusing another way to keep close to the young farmers which invest in fruit growing industry in Romania. I take advantage of this appointment to say in the last time we together with this small plot we planted, and we expect to implement now more than 10,000 hectares in Romania for fruit and orchards, which seems like this small plot. So we are going to develop this platform together with other component of other ideas and topics. And many young we used to come in the last three years, more than 1,000 person entry, and we transform little by little in a trainers, in a way like trainers. Our scientists and researchers work now like trainers for young generation, but not only, also for the farmers.
Wow, indeed. That's something that I believe it's important to take into account. Like I said, we have to involve everyone in the current fruit process, not just the future ones, but the ones we have here. And we have our sources that Mega Image has really done its work, because it cares about educating the farmers that you work with and helping them improve on their work. Can you tell us a bit more about how is your approach on educating the current farmers?
Actually, Mega Image make a commitment to sustain local production and local growers. This happened eight years ago, and we launched a strategic project for us to address the needs for local products, for healthy products, and tasty, not at least, especially in veggies. We target this project, and we also target the needs of the growers, because they need predictability in deliveries, they need some information regarding the prices, some help with the inputs. So we try to combine all this together. Of course, we need the help. We contracted 2 agronomists, and with their help we were able to provide sustainable technologies for production, so we can obtain in the end that healthy product that we want. What is important is that these 2 agronomists are providing constant consultancy to all our growers, and we're speaking about right now almost 200 growers, small growers, and they help them to learn about our technologies, to learn what is good practice in agriculture, because they have to change the way of thinking. They learn before from their parents, from their neighbor. They have some, let's say, old thinking in production area, but after they experience our technologies, okay, they say have to go in this way. And we are proud that we help them to develop, and actually we help them to develop their family business. I can say that all our fruits and vegetables suppliers are, let's say, audited earlier on the beginning of the collaboration, and after that during the year, for be sure that they are implementing all these good practices in agriculture. It is important for us in Mega Image that all our partners to have certification for GFSI, and this is the target for this year and also for the next period, to obtain this certification and to maintain them, of course.
Indeed.
And Mega Image is part of Albert Heijn, of course.
Yes.
Indeed, and I hate to be the person that cuts the conversation short, but we know education is a big subject. We all want to contribute to this subject, so we are asking the people that are watching online, please ask whatever question you have on the subject in the Facebook chat or in the comments, and we will do our best in the Q&A to address them, because I'm pretty sure you also have your own curiosities that you would like to address to our guests. And now we're going to move into our next subject, circular agriculture. circular agriculture has received a lot of buzz as a subject because it's tied very closely to the Sustainable Development Goals that we've all committed to, and we are 9 years away from this deadline, and we need to see where we are now and what can we still do until we meet those goals. And here I would love to give the stage to Mr. Laszlo Borbély, because you have been campaigning for this. You are the main champion of sustainable development. Where are we now in terms of our plans, and what are the ambitions until, let's say, the end of the decade?
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say some words about education, because it belongs and it's one of the most important SDGs, yes. And I hope that also on the level of Ministry of Education, as soon as possible, we have a very clear action plan what we have to do more, because it's clear that we have to do more. First of all, it's dual education, yes, and how we can have partners to the private sector to grow and to have more classes on dual education. We are very active. We will have a summit on dual education as soon as possible, and just today at 1 o'clock we have a online meeting, a hybrid meeting also in gastronomy and food waste, because food waste is one of the most important issues, healthy alimentation, and we promoted during the years. We start with the partnership, and more than 20,000 brochures were sent to different schools, how for the children to educate them. We have a very important book of the Michelin stars chef from France, Mr. Alex Glod, translating Romania. Healthy alimentation is one of the part of the circular agriculture also. Of course, agriculture is linked to several SDGs, yes, zero hunger, clean water, renewable consumption and production, sustainable consumption, climate change, biodiversity. We have to put together, and that's why in our department, which was established in 2017, we have a new strategy in Romania. This is our new strategy since 2018, and it's not accidentally that two people are raised their hands, because we need solidarity, we need partnership, we need to change the mentality of the society, and without partners we will be just, something technical, something very, very theoretical, but will be a failure. So that's why. But first of all, we have to look in which stage we are, yes? And we have another book also in our site, of course, of the department, the national indicators in 2020, yes? In which stage we are now. Also in agriculture we have no time to enter in details, but we have a huge amount of the food waste. We are in public debate to have a strategy for circular economy, which means all, of course, not just circular agriculture. We have in European Union the 6th largest agriculture, but we have not enough productivity, in my opinion. We have in European Union a higher rate of farms, because they are split and they are just for subsistence, and we have to change this. And in my opinion, will be very important regarding our side to be partners, to have partnerships. We have partnership with Ministry of Agriculture in food waste. We are linked to FAO to translate some for education, not new curricula, but to help them to understand how important it is in a country in which about 48 or 49% of the population are living in countryside. So it's a very high level of, but of course it's okay, but we have to show them that it's another approach. Digitalization, yes, it's very interesting. I saw a picture when a guy is staying with the calculator, with the with iPad, and in the backside there are cows and others. So we need this kind of digitalization. So we are open. We are discussing about irrigation, how, and they are saying that is not part, could be not part of our recovery plan. Okay, we need this irrigation, and we need to find other possibilities from European Union money and from the budget. So it's my asking is to be partners, and I congratulate again the Dutch embassy and also the Ministry of Agriculture from your country, and also the private sector, because it's important to have best practices. And I have to tell you that in Holland, you know very well that it's best practices for us and good practices for Romania. So we will be in contact. We will. I hope that we will prove that we have to do more. For us, one of the most difficult issues now that more than 3 million people, Romanian citizens, are working outside. So it's a huge need to have specialists, to have very good knowledge of what we have to do in agriculture. And that's why we intend to finalize an action plan until the end of the year regarding all the SDGs, to have new indicators to monitoring. So we are like a catalyst, like to put together those pieces, and it's my last, it's a Rubik cube, the Rubik cube of SDGs, because if you try to put it, and of course, if one piece is not in their place, something wrong, you have no chance to. It's like in a society, yes. Each place should be or could be in their places, and that's why with a lot of positive, I hope, approach, we can do more to have a more sustainable society. So
I have a surprise for you. You were asking for best practices. Now maybe I can hand over the first edition of the 20 Dutch-Romanian best practices in circular agriculture.
Wow.
Indeed, this is.
Thank you very much.
We have actually part of the team that has worked on this ebook, because it's a report on good case practices on circular agriculture, both in Romania and the Netherlands. And I believe we have now Madalina, who is one of the people that was part of creating this report. Hello, Madalina. Tell us a bit more about this report, and what was the work that you did behind the scenes.
Hello everyone. First, I want to say that I'm really honored to be here today talking about the book that I wrote together with Professor Oksana Pătăgeanu, Marius Constantin, and Georgiana Strat. We had this amazing opportunity over the last few months to discover and listen to the stories of the people that are reshaping the way that we think about our food, our economy, and our entire way of living. So this book that you now have in the studio, it captures 26 examples of great practice in the agri-food industry. 13 of them are change makers from the Netherlands, and the other 13 are change makers from Romania. The articles are structured in the book. They are written in both Romanian and English, and we have a variety of articles of circular businesses, indeed, from the agricultural industry. Some of them are really closely together with the agricultural sector, while others are promoting and emphasizing the need of the green commerce of the agricultural goods.
I was curious, because I've been looking through all of the good case practices, and there's so many to mention. Can you give us one from the Netherlands that kind of resonated with you the most?
Yes, sure. When I think about a great circular example from the Netherlands, the cowshed of the future, and I hope that you see on the screen the pictures that are really explain themselves. The cowshed of the future is really changing the perspective on dairy farms across the Netherlands. The name is Katringe, and I'm already sorry for the probably mispronunciation of the word. It's a Dutch word, Katringe, but they are already changing the perspective on dairies because they are offering in this cowshed extra space for the cows in order to maintain their welfare and health. And one really great thing that they did, one really great aspect of the business, a circular aspect, is that they managed to integrate a system that that is separating the urine from the manure, and further in the process they are closing the circle from waste to resources when they mix together the dry manure with the straws from the cow beds and obtaining a natural fertilizer for the meadows, which turn in delivering the perfect feed for the cows, which is and then revealing in the process to a higher quality milk and cheese products.
Wow, that's really inspiring. And from Romania, can you give us one? Because I think we also have a lot of good examples to share. Which one caught your eye?
Yeah, sure. From Romania, a great example of circularity comes from is the story of Cosmina and Șerban Dinu. There are two people that I really admire, and they started Pastured Poultry Farm, Ferma de Păsări Poșnate, if you may. They started this business in 2020, not long after the COVID crisis started out in Romania. And as they knew then, and now they are trying to convince us, gazing brings multiple benefits to towards the local community. It aims at the quality of food produced and at as well as the welfare of the animal. So they are raising broilers exclusively on the pasture from the age of 21 days. In mobile shelters that you've seen and will see on the screen. A mobile shelter has about 12 square meters, and the optimal density of the chickens that can grow in only one mobile shed is 75. So they are choosing this way of doing their business. They raising the broilers in the mobile shed in order to have closer to zero impact on the soil. And they also manage in a short amount of time, because they are only from 1 year on the market, to really build a really strong community around their initiative, because they are that we are talking about, and they are selling directly to the end customers using social platforms and their own new launch platform, Romo, that it's bringing closer together the small farmers and the customers in order to decrease the food mile indicators of the agricultural goods.
Wow. Oh, thank you for this example. And I know from what I've already read, there are a lot of examples, so you can find this ebook. We're going to present actually later at the portal where this ebook can be downloaded and written. Thank you for your work, and we're really happy to see these examples.
Thank you, and I would like to take a second to really express the author's gratitude towards the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Romania for giving us the possibility to write a book for making possible this book, and giving us today the opportunity to share with you all the great stories of the change makers. And to all the change makers out there, I really want to say a sincere thank you for making us understand how we can make the world a better place. Thank
Indeed.
you.
And for setting the example that many businesses should indeed follow. Once again, we want to take the time to show a short statement from Mr. Marius Micu from the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development that shows the commitment towards this subject of circular agriculture.
Asigurarea calității și securității alimentare în condițiilor unor resurse limitate reprezintă o provocare pentru orice economie națională. O soluție practică poate fi furnizată prin utilizarea optimă a inputurilor din sectorul agricol, prin utilizarea eficientă a produselor secundare rezultate și prin recuperarea elementelor utilizabile din deșeuri ca factor cheie de stimulare a competitivității și a lanțurilor valorice durabile. Este un domeniu esențial pentru stimularea creșterii în zonele rurale, creând valoare adăugată pentru societate prin producerea, transformarea și utilizarea resurselor naturale biologice. Creșterea ocupării forței de muncă în zona rurală se poate realiza prin dezvoltarea lanțurilor locale de aprovizionare puternic legate de contextul bioeconomic și teritorial, și anume resursele agricole și forestiere disponibile local. Economia circulară vizează metode de conversie a materiei prime în produse cu valoare adăugată, cu scopul de a ajunge la o economie inovatoare bazată pe cunoștințe avansate cu emisii scăzute. Astfel, economia circulară include acțiuni inovatoare întreprinse pentru producerea alimentelor, a hranei pentru animale, a materialelor biologice și a resurselor de bioenergie. Pentru o economie circulară viabilă, este nevoie ca cei care activează în domeniile care pot utiliza bioresurse să fie sprijiniți atât pentru investiții în proiecte de cercetare-inovare, în tehnologie specifică, cât și pentru realizarea unor parteneriate pe orizontală și verticală, având ca rezultat creșterea competitivității și protejarea mediului. Prin urmare, este necesară finanțarea proiectelor integrate, indiferent de dimensiunea întreprinderilor, a formelor de asociere cu rolul economic din sectorul agricol și industria alimentară, bioeconomie, cu accent pe economia circulară, putând fi o componentă importantă în dezvoltarea sustenabilă a zonelor rurale, în corelare cu dezvoltarea fermelor care produc pentru piață în sistem organizat. Este important ca dezvoltarea sectorului agricol românesc, agroalimentar, să fie corelată corespunzător cu obiectivul limitării emisiilor gazelor cu efect de seră. Mai mult, practicile moderne pot include alegerea culturilor și speciilor mai bine adaptate sezonului de creștere și apei disponibile, adaptarea culturilor cu ajutorul diversității genetice existente și a noilor oportunități oferite de biotehnologie.
Okay, it was very interesting. Thank you, State Secretary. I want to give the floor very shortly for a reaction to The Hague, where we have Ms. Karen Bakhuizen. Maybe she can tell us in a few sentences the Dutch policy on circular agriculture and the relation we could have with Romania in this.
Thank you, Arie, for this interesting question. And I think we should also maybe highlight that for more than half a century, Dutch and European agricultural policy has focused on efficiently producing as much food as possible at a low price and also with a reasonable income for a farmer. But also we have faced now the negative side effects of this. And I think for the Netherlands, it's a huge transition that we have to make, and to change our agricultural system into a one that is more circular. So for us, really a huge challenge, whereby we are also facing different challenges, technical challenges, but also societal challenges in terms of knowledge that we need to make sure that this circular agriculture will work also. One of the key challenges also how to support farmers in developing new types of businesses or business models that are also attractive for them. This is also a huge challenge, and also a political challenge also to get the support of farmers to make this transition. So we're working on this with special programs like Innovation at the Farm. It's also literally called like that, supporting farmers in making a change, in providing them with advice and specific skills and knowledge to make the transition, looking for new business models. At the same time, we're also working on innovating our education and also making sure that research, applied research, is also helping businesses that would like to make the change also. So we're focusing on applied research that is implemented by TVET colleges in very close cooperation with private sector parties. For example, there's a very nice example of a circular greenhouse in the Netherlands. Very promising, and also a lot of international partners are looking at this specific idea, but also at the University of Applied Sciences, and in addition to that, also the Wageningen University Research Center is also helping the Dutch government to set also define further policies and also to create the knowledge that is needed by education institutes and by private sector parties. So there are a lot of specific new programs developed, subsidy programs to support these movements, but also within Green Pact we have discussions on how to move forward, because we, like we said before, we need all stakeholders to make this transition, which is, I think, crucial, not only for the Netherlands, but also for the rest of the world. And within the international orientation of these movements, we really welcome partnerships like with Romania to work on our, I think, shared challenges and shared interests and perspectives that we have. So we really would like to welcome you on board and to take part of the Green Pact movement.
Thank you very much, Karin. Nice to hear. I know that already, but it's good that you mentioned it again in this broadcast, that this collaboration is so very important.
Indeed, and also I think we can now get a bit of a glimpse, because you've mentioned a great deal about what universities are doing and the collaborations, and that's why we're going to continue with a nice video to see a little bit how agriculture universities in the Netherlands build the best practitioners in the domain.
In de hele menselijke geschiedenis zijn het de voedsel- en landbouwinnovaties die voor structurele verbetering hebben gezorgd. Door bevolkingsgroei, klimaatverandering en internationale voedselproductie zijn deze innovaties nu belangrijker dan ooit.
This is really nice to be part of a school that thinks about the bigger picture. The school found a way into my heart like that.
We all really want to contribute something, and we are here to find means to achieve that.
It helps me see also the whole system that the world has right now. The social issues, we have the nature around us, but we have to also keep in mind of the economics, that's there, the politics that's there.
The school gives you opportunities to learn the futures and excursions that we do.
Romania in the first year, that was a really good experience just to get a taste of actually what it's like to work in communities, and you really get a feel for the practical side of it rather than just following a textbook.
If we want to have a world where our children can eat safely and play around freely, we are the generation that needs to solve it, and everything is coming back in parts of the study program.
Ja, Iris Farms is onze schoolboerderij. Dat is een bedrijf met een melkveetak, akkerbouwtak en een intensieve tak met schapen, leghennen en varkens. Waar wij als studenten de kans krijgen om onderzoek te doen, waar we les krijgen en onszelf verder kunnen ontwikkelen. Ik ben verantwoordelijk voor het dagelijks gebeuren rondom de schapen, de kippen en de varkens. Dus voeren, behandelen van de dieren, dat soort dingen. Maar ook dat wij in gesprek gaan met vertegenwoordigers. Nou, dat is natuurlijk super leerzaam. En het is best wel goed voor je netwerking. Ik denk vooral het in gesprek gaan met vertegenwoordigers en kijken hoe je jezelf nog verder kunt verbeteren. Daar leer je gewoon heel erg veel van. Het is gewoon echt heel erg leuk. Ja.
Wageningen University is one of the leading international universities in the field of healthy food and living environment. Here, you will focus on current and future global issues that are of increasing importance to both industry and government. You are ensured personal guidance throughout your student career with a student-teacher ratio of 7:1. Our research and education are based on a fundamental scientific approach, and we focus strongly on practical application. Wageningen campus offers you excellent student facilities, including an app to help you find an available workspace with a computer, a huge modern library that is open 14 hours a day, and a meeting center called Impulse, an inspiring meeting place for scientists, policymakers, entrepreneurs, students, and citizens.
Now, if we have the luck to have young people tuning in today who are wondering whether is agriculture a career for me, I hope that this has inspired you to go in this direction, and may you find in the Netherlands the expertise you're looking for. But I hope you also find in Romania the place for you to implement that expertise. The final question that I would like to have on this subject comes to Diana Zaharia, because one of the things I've noticed is that Mega Image has been very keen on improving all the food supply chain, from the farm to the fork, so to say. And I would love for you to tell us a bit more on how you've tried to implement elements of circularity in the supply chain that you provide.
Well, I can say that our program, Gusto Românești, was born from the need of bringing on the market sustainable alternative, because there aren't so many at that moment. What we was targeting was to optimize the cost of the growers, to optimize production, and all this in the context of food safety, high level of food safety, and keep in mind that we are making production on traditional way. So products are cultivated on the soil, so not in a substrate or other, let's say, automatic process of cultivation. That's why we are needed the expertise and technologies of our agronomists, but also the implication of Mega Image team, or it is still very active, because we are selecting, we are negotiating and contracting all inputs that the growers need, starting with the seeds, with fertilizer, with elements of control of the pest. Even the plastic folia for cover the greenhouse is negotiated by us. Last year we have introduced in 50 locations sensors for monitoring the evolution, pathological and phenological, of the crops. In this way we can, let's say, optimize the consumption of fertilizer, also optimizing the irrigation system. So we try to teach growers to use all these tools what we provide for them. Because we would like to be very close to our growers, we also look for buy everything they want to produce, and also second-class articles. That's why you can see during the season some tomatoes, eggplant, peppers, second class on our shelf with better, let's say, selling price, because we really want to reduce the food waste. So the clients should have this alternative to buy cheaper products, but in the same time to help growers to sell everything. If the quantities for second class, it's let's say a little bigger, we also have a solution for this, because we use them for integrating our ready meal destination. So their products go to some dishes what you can find on Mega Image shelf. So this is again another focus for us. And recently we have tested, let's say, a pricing scheme for reducing the selling price for a certain article, very sensitive, like bread or green stuff, on the end of the day, for the same logic, to reduce the food waste. Mm-hmm. On the end of the day.
Food waste is a huge subject, and yes. I would want to even focus more on what you've mentioned on the fact that you use even the second-class products, because we've seen, and probably to those that are very familiar with the subject, we've seen images throughout Latin America and other places where the importers, they only want the first class, and the second class ones are thrown, and that's where most of food waste we see. And I would like to applaud the fact that you are taking care of this little detail, because it does indeed make a difference, and hopefully it becomes an industry standard here in Romania and worldwide.
Yes, we applaud our clients because they buy our products even if they are second class, because they know what is the reality. They're helping the growers.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you very much.
Well, now we have, by the way, a whole special on our website from the Dutch Agricultural Councils in the world, www.agroberichtenbuitenland.nl. Yeah, I cannot imagine that there's anyone outside can understand it except the Dutch. But we have a whole special on food waste. That's very nice. And also what's happening in Romania, what you're doing here. So,
indeed.
Happy.
Indeed. And as we can see, everybody can contribute, whether you're a producer, whether you're a retailer or a consumer. Each and every one of us can do our part. Now we're going to move into a subject that, like I said, will definitely resonate with our urban viewers. We're going to talk about green urban landscapes.
green landscapes. That is a very important topic because urbanization is also one of the challenges we face. What does it mention, green cities or urban landscapes? It means actually that people who are living in the cities are getting more and more also live in an attractive environment with lots of green. In the Netherlands, we have very nice projects that will be presented also in a short time. And here in Romania, we have a so-called Partners in International Business program, which means that a Dutch consortium of providers of green material have several projects here in the city of Bucharest, but also in other cities in Romania to grow the city more. We have recently had a very nice project in the garden of the Romanian Senate, in the huge palace with Dutch tulips and also with the Dutch trees and plants and material. We have a very nice experience with a so-called healing garden with Dutch materials, a healing garden where you can breathe also the Dutch air which is produced by the Dutch trees. You can breathe that. That's also very interesting. But I suggest that we can also look to that live now, to our landscape engineers here somewhere in Romania. I don't know where, but they're on spot, and we give them shortly the floor. I assume we give them shortly. There they are.
There they are.
They're still frozen, but
hopefully they can hear us.
I don't know. No.
Well, if not, until we make sure our connection with them is stable, let us move to Florentina. We'll talk a bit more about these projects, and in the meantime, we'll make sure we have our colleagues on board. Florentina, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. Happy to be here and happy to be speaking on behalf of this wonderful initiative. Indeed, the Partners in International Business is an instrument that is originated in the Netherlands, but it's based on strong cooperation in the countries that is implemented. And I have to say that this one that we are talking about is the fourth one. Yeah, so there were experiences in dairy, horticultural, and fruit tree sector where Mr. Koman was also involved. So all this, the whole concept of this Partners in International Business is based on business to business, knowledge to knowledge, and government to government cooperation, streaming stakeholders from both countries to build on that. And there are some images that we prepared for our activities that are already implemented in the urban landscapes Romania. That's another video, but that can be played later on a bit on our strong, let's say, commitment for working together. But what I was talking about is the one that reflects on the landscapes, on the demonstration projects and the cooperation, strategic cooperation that was made with different stakeholders, like the University of Agronomic Sciences and Veterinary Medicine in Bucharest, like the Mincu Architecture Institute, and also all the demonstration, let's say, areas, plots that we started to create in order to showcase, let's say, what we are talking about and bring these concrete examples closer to all those sectors. So the business sector, the knowledge sector, but also the governmental institutions, helping them to make good choices. Arie mentioned already that we have a wonderful contribution to a special project that was done in the garden of the former house of the people, the current headquarters of the Romanian Parliament, the Senate part, where the initiation of a garden that is recuperating the memory of the city was done already, and where we were able to contribute with diverse material from hedges to trees and a wonderful specially created tulip named after the former neighborhood. So Uranus tulip is there, bloomed this spring spectacularly, and made our life much more colored, and helped us to see the landscapes from a different perspective. So now, if our colleagues can join, because they are hands-on. They arrived from the Netherlands last night, so they are hands-on in one of our last demo plots that we set up a few weeks ago, in front of the Mincu University, in a very central, on the central street in Bucharest, on Academiei. So if we can have images with Victor and Remy. We really
there they are.
Nice
to
see you
Welcome.
guys. Nice to see you.
Welcome, guys.
Unbelievable, eh? Yeah. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Goedemorgen.
Good morning.
We cannot hear them.
No?
I think we can. I think we can. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, we don't hear the guys.
We don't hear in the studio, but hopefully our viewers can hear. So. Yeah. Okay, so tell us a bit more about the project that you have behind you, and then maybe a little bit about the project you did at the Senate. But let's start with where you are now on the ground.
Yeah, we are here in front of the Mincu University, where we did a demonstration project where we have planted a lot of perennials and also some trees. We had a garden here that was not well maintained over the last years, and we changed that with a new design plan where we put in more plants so we will have color and happiness all through the year. There's different trees planted and different perennials planted, and we should have here at least I would say 7 months per year, a very attractive garden for people to enjoy, and we will see if we can make a small microclimate where it is different from the outside of the garden, and where it is very pleasant to stay and to enjoy your free time.
Also, besides of that, it's also very important that we have the maintenance. We want to show that you can bring down the maintenance cost by using perennials, because it's still a kind of misunderstanding that planting perennials and beds of perennials brings a lot of maintenance costs. And you also want to prove that it is not in that way, because when these perennials are closing the soil, there's no space anymore for the weeds. So in that way, also you can bring down the weeds, but bring up the quality.
Indeed, wow, that's very insightful, and I'm hoping that everyone who's watching and is passing through Bucharest will see your little place. But like I said, this isn't the only place you've made, and I'm sure you're much prouder of the garden you did at the close to the Senate. So please tell us about that one. I know it's your passion project.
No, green in general is a passion. I think what we are looking for is that we attract people to go out of their houses and go enjoy the outdoor space, and that Bucharest also will become a city where you can live all year round, also outside, and not come inside and go quickly outside to the direction you want to go, but you also really feel the time and energy to spend your time outside and enjoy the green area. But the Senate is a nice example that you start using a garden to show a bit of history, to give something back to the people from the past, but also give it a kind of a new life to the future. Now, still, there is of course a step to make, because I would love there was no fence and that it is enterable for everybody. But of course, with the function of the Senate inside, it will be hard to realize it in a short period of time. But there I think. Green becomes a new monument. So there's also really another way of using green and mixture of plants. But probably Amy can say a bit more about the planting schemes there.
Yeah, well, there's the same story. We have there a bigger combination than we did here between trees and bulbs and perennials and roses. So it should be that where I said in this garden that we have like 6 or 7 months a year a flowering garden. There it might even be 8 or close to 9. We made the design that it's multi-usable, so that you can have events in the garden where you can enjoy it, but you can also from the outside see and enjoy it by passing by, not only by being in the garden. And also there we used a lot of the perennials that are in nice mixtures. So you will have a long flowering period and a lot of different colors in between and a very rich flowering. We selected a few varieties that are especially interesting for all the insects and the bees, and so we will increase biodiversity within the area there. And you will see that when you bring that to an area and you get more bees and more butterflies and more insects, that they will how do you say that? They will spread the word, so to say. So nature will take over at some point, and it will continue behind and beyond that garden.
We work very close together, Victor and Remy, and when we talk each other, also the rest of the consortium, I always see enthusiasm in your eyes when you talk about greening cities, about also developing and make also designs. That's very nice. And even now on screen, I see your enthusiasm about it. One short question. I was born in Amersfoort. Is it a coincidence that is the first place where you make also a green spot, Victor?
Yeah, it's sometimes things has to be in a way. You see it. So nothing is happening without a reason. So that's probably the reason that we met each other here in Bucharest. And it's of course for me it's a kind of challenge to show that agriculture. There's a change in how we. You're the agriculture attaché. But I try to convince that you can maybe transform yourself into an urban green attaché, because I think that's really the export product of the future. That's my opinion, at least. So I like to help you with that. But
while changing Arie, you're going to have a hard job. But good luck.
Try to keep yourself, but also develop a bit. No, it's when you look at Amersfoort, the example that you gave me, and where we also sit in a nice summer day together with your son. There you really see what you can do from just simple grey asphalt spots, and how you can develop them into a future square. So it's also really a mixture between green, so the plants for the biodiversity, how to keep your water in space, how to create shade, how you create an atmosphere, but also how you create the parking places of the future. That you stay short on a spot just to charge your car, remove it when it's full, almost like a more normal petrol station, but then just for the electric cars. So also the electric charging poles can be used for the events, so you don't need the diesel generators anymore. So in that way you come to the multiple use, but also you can get money from it. So it's not just spending money, because people want to be there. There will be festivals organized or markets or whatever. So in that way there's also an economical part of it. And there you see also really they create first that, let's say, garden inside that part of the city, and then the development of buildings around really get a boost. So people want to be part of it, but there was no space enough to live or to work. So they start developing offices, houses, etc. So they start with Victor, a 12-hour economy, and now 24. Sorry, yeah.
Victor, I want to close this conversation with one superpower that I would love to give you guys. So if you have to choose one place in Bucharest that you would transform to your liking, which would that place be?
I have to check Google Maps what's the name exactly, but I can show you where it is. How is it called, that crossing? It's not that long time ago they renew it. It's just fully that there's a parking garage underneath. It's a beautiful part of the city, but it's so hard and stony, and that I would love to make that spot green. But you know, that's
Piața Universității, Victor.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So
and you are very close by. You're actually very close by to the place.
We started already.
Yeah, yes. Thank you very much for your contribution, and it is a pleasure to, like I said, to see your enthusiasm, and I hope more of us get to benefit from your work, because your contribution needs to really ripple in its effect, and we hope to see more greener cities, both in Romania, but also even greener in the Netherlands.
We go for it, and thanks for the possibility to share. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think this story, it's kind of a testament to the subject that we're going to address in our last section, the idea that together we are stronger. Through these type of collaborations, we can solve these complex issues. So let us start this last part of the event. Like I said, the purpose of this event is to show that our strength is in our numbers and in our individual efforts. And so that's why, for this purpose, the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands has committed to being a connector between the institutions that we find in Romania, the businesses, as well as what we find in the Netherlands, and finding these collaborative means of working together. And I would love to know that you have an interesting announcement that you're going to make, and I would like to give you the opportunity to introduce Jan and Florentina afterwards, but give us a hint. Why are you so keen on making this announcement today, announcing this collaboration that you're going to kickstart?
Why I'm so happy to announce it today? It is because we're on the brink of a new era, and also because we have so many results booked in the last period that we think we have to make that just now, and not in a bilateral seminar physical, but now with this public. There are 3 products which will be presented today, and the first product is, I think, the Edu portal, Agri-Edu portal, and I want to give the floor to Florentina Nanu, who explains a little bit in short how you can make use of this very interesting portal.
Thank you, Arie. I was supposed to have also a dialogue with my colleague Jan, but let's go and see how we can introduce this virtual platform that actually summons all our work, especially in the last year. But I have to say that this cooperation was started many years ago, especially by the interest of the Dutch school towards Romanian market. Okay, so we are browsing through this portal. Here you can see how the whole platform is structured. We focused on resources, partnership, educational, entrepreneurship, and all the useful links that can be used by teachers in Romania and the Netherlands alike. So we are kind of advertising relevant initiatives in terms of partnerships, in terms of educational resources as well. But we are also looking at different categories of educational resources, teaching, good practices, and so on, especially designed for pre-university sector, but also for the university academic sector. So you can see all these images, but I strongly encourage you to access the portal and browse through it. There is also a version in the Romanian language, of course. So you can see the initiatives that are there, and we're sure that we are going to update these parts with new things that are coming, and we are very happy to get information from all the stakeholders that get interested in this. There is a very clear contact point where you can reach towards us, and we can always provide you with additional information. Now you can see that the platform hosts information about agricultural universities in both countries, but also initiatives that were organized by those universities in partnership with the Dutch sector. Was mentioned earlier that the best practices brochure that was presented by our colleagues in the circular agricultural section will be found also here. So you can find it here in the news tab. And you can consult it, and we encourage you to go forward. We also have a dedicated tab to agribusiness, to the partnership with the business sector, which we all discussed today. It's very, very important for taking the sector further. So yes, this is the Agri Portal. And as I said, the idea of this virtual platform was actually strengthened by our experience last year, working in the pandemic context, but was built on a very close and very hands-on cooperation that was there since 2018, with study trips in the Netherlands in 2019 and the creation of agricultural education task force together with the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in Romania. And also doing a lot of activities directly, hands-on activities with the high schools in Romania, so in partnership between the two sectors. Also practical activities, meetings with the farmers, also in the context of the innovation plots that Mr. Coman now in the studio is having developed together with us in the institute at Mărăcineni. So a lot of activities that we were building on, looking at the future in the best, let's say, combined way, being, let's say, future-proofed in terms of practical presence, real presence, but also virtual presence. So we are happy to combine all these possibilities, resources, and keep the cooperation as close as possible between the countries, but also within the countries, between the stakeholders. So, yeah.
I ask shortly Jan Steverink also online, because Jan, I assume that Jan also wants to say something as a representative of the Dutch high schools, something about the collaboration, maybe the history of the collaboration.
Thank you, Arie. As Florentina already explained, we have been working very closely together, and I think Karen Bakhuizen explained that Green Pact has started to initiate these country tables already quite some time ago. I think she mentioned 2018 or maybe before. But we as institutes, we have started to sit together in 2018. It is also the first time that I met Florentina. I entered the meeting room and she was on a big screen supporting us from Romania. We have been discussing our interest in Romania, our urgency to do things in Romania together. Some of our institutes had students from Romania in their courses. Others had students traveling to Romania doing their internships there. And we said, well, we would like to build partnerships with our colleagues in Romania because together we stand stronger. And especially in the field of circular agriculture, as was mentioned in the previous topic, we believe that there is a strong sense of urgency and also a strong sense of wanting to work together. And as Arie was already explaining, we are at the brink of a new era because yesterday I received my first vaccination for COVID. So I think in the near future we are able to meet each other live again. We have been working behind the scenes, especially Florentina has been working very hard to work on the platform, etc., etc. But we hope that we can use this platform and that we need this platform for future collaboration. We have been working. We have had Romanian colleagues visiting us in the Netherlands. We have been going to Indagra in Bucharest, where Arie organized a very nice seminar symposium. Then we had also a session with the agricultural high schools in February, just 2 weeks before the outbreak of Corona. And we are now really very eager to start up. And it is also a very nice opportunity to launch this platform. This picture. I should be in this picture, but we are ready now to start working together, and I hope that this platform can help us very much in establishing these contacts.
Thank you very much, Jan and Florentina.
Yes.
We have of course also Mega Image here in the studio and Mr. Koman. Maybe you can give some short reactions on the collaborations which are just discussed and mentioned here on board?
Yes, of course, because I suppose we started so long time ago if we compare with other cooperation. So we keep in touch, of course, and keep work together. We just start another project together. I want to inform the people. We just start to propagate plants in Romania together with a platform and together with a cluster from some companies from Netherlands. They are very well known and they are doing a very strong inspection of the quality of and the safety of the plants. What we need to create together a nuclear stock, and this nuclear stock helps, and with all the authenticity, I am speaking also for Romanian varieties, not also a foreign variety, then to spread all over the nursery in Romania. This is a new challenge for us, and we just started, but I am sure we'll in future we'll go on together, of course, inside of fruit industry.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
For sure, we're going to explore this platform because it's something new for us, and we are always open to learn more, to find new partners, and to learn in the end about good practices. So for sure, I'm going to look on this platform and to see what is in for us to take over.
Thank you very much. Can I shortly? Yes,
please.
Because I understand that Karen Bakhuis is also still in the air. We have spoken a lot the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes about the private sector collaboration and the companies, company and the agricultural institutes. But how do you experience the collaboration until now, Karin? As on governmental level?
You mean between the two countries?
Yes, the bilateral.
Yes, yes, yeah. I don't have a very clear view on what kind of companies are participating in this partnership, but I think from a Groenpact point of view, it has always been a little bit of a challenge. But at the same time, when you see that private sector parties are interested in investing in countries and also do a business together, that you also see that the human resources needs are immediately there. I think we mentioned before that we need specialists, but we also need innovation. In certain sectors and themes, we need to innovate. And I think private sector parties are really at the heart of the needs for innovation. So I think it's important to include them from the start. And if not from the start, then along the cooperation. So I think it would be very useful to involve them as much as possible, actually, centered around specific themes where the interest is, where the shared interest is. Yeah, and I think this portal, I really want to compliment you. I think it's very instrumental for the cooperation and also to attract more partners to the Dutch and Romanian cooperation in Norway. And at the same time, I also feel very much that this cooperation is also a best practice in itself. So we really should share a lot of the things that you have accomplished already.
Thank you very much, Karin. I think we're almost at the end, but highlights are always coming at the end, Alex. Is that true? Yeah.
Yes.
Highlights are coming at the end, and also to cluster all these knowledge from the Netherlands and from Romania, also to cluster also the cooperation, etc. You need something. You need something which you can mention, which you can touch maybe, and in which all this information, this knowledge, this collaboration is centered. Now we have. I'm very proud that I can give the floor now to our ambassador, Mr. Roelof van Ees. Unfortunately he could not be here today, the whole day, but he made a very nice statement, and I want to give him the floor shortly, and with the official opening of the new Center of Excellence, Dutch-Romanian Center of Excellence in Romania. Mr. van Ees.
Hello, dear viewer. The fact that you are following this item suggests to me that you take a keen interest in knowledge, in agricultural knowledge, and know how that is. Green knowledge for a sustainable future. And you may also be aware of Dutch green knowledge and how education research, in close cooperation with the business sector and the Dutch government, have advanced the Dutch agricultural sector to the top position where it is in the world today. a technologically advanced position, which we obviously want to keep and strengthen, while at the same time shifting to a more circular form of agriculture. I mean a form of agriculture in which environmental considerations, including better use of natural resources, play a considerably bigger role. As you may know, this is also what the UN's Sustainable Development Goals and European policies require. By the way, I believe that sharing knowledge and know-how is as important as developing it. And this today more than ever, in view of the serious challenges mankind is facing. In the first place, climate change and the rapid growth of the world's population. Romania and the Netherlands boast a long-standing cooperation in the green sector. We enjoy an open and fruitful relationship at government level, most prominently with the Romanian Ministry of Agriculture, the Department for Sustainable Development, and the Ministry of Education. More broadly speaking, the private sectors of our countries as a whole also work together well, resulting in substantial trade and investment. And since almost 2 years now, our green education sectors have deepened their cooperation considerably. As we want to bring this cooperation to the next level, I am pleased to introduce you to the Center of Excellence for Agri-Food Educational Resources and Sustainable Development. In short, the Center of Excellence. This is a one-stop entity which can help you find your way to the green education institutions of the Netherlands, to identify the right research and business partners, to exchange experience, develop courses, and so on. The possibilities are manifold. So without further ado, I'm pleased to invite you to the Center of Excellence.
Welcome to our center. What will you find in here? Green knowledge, educational resources, research and business partners, courses and curricula development, train the trainer and institutional support, practical activities and common projects, agricultural research and development, partnership in international projects. Come on in, we are open.
I hope you are excited to check out the portal and the Center of Excellence, because there's a lot for you to find there, and we hope that you find not only the things that you expect, but the things that you do not expect that you do indeed need. And through these small steps that each of these actors are making, we can really see the change that we're hoping for. Now, up until this point, like I said, we have curated the conversation, we've talked about all these great deals, but we also care about your questions. So I would love to take now this time to see what questions have been bubbling in the chat, in the comments, and address them to maybe the guests that we have here online. I will attempt to put my attention here to the screen and see what comments or... Okay, so we have a first question from Alex Albu. Can any Romanian high school join the new portal, and how? I think, Florentina, would you be willing to answer this one?
Yeah, if I can take it, yeah.
Yes.
All the agricultural high schools are already listed in the web portal, and some of their initiatives are there as well. But the portal, as I said, it's an open platform, so you are encouraged to get in contact with us, and then we can find together what would be the interest for which you want to join the new portal. We have also a segment of the portal that is dedicated to bilateral, let's say, cooperation, where members learners that join will have the possibilities to get in contact with peers and different other kind of partners, NGOs, academic sector representatives in the Netherlands. And maybe our idea is also to get together in projects in Romania, but also at European level. So yeah, the simple thing to do is to contact us. You'll find all the details on the web portal.
I'm happy to hear that there's an interest for Romanian high schools to come on the portal. So that's amazing. First, now let's see what would be the next question. What do we have here from our guests? So the next question is from Madeleine Dumitru. Oh, it's the same question. Maybe there was a small glitch in the production, but let's see. What would be another question? Yes, from Stefan. How interested is the youth in agriculture? How do we attract them to study agriculture? Who would like to take this one? Now, you have worked with a lot of young people, Mr. Coman. You've seen how it is. You said you've transformed your team into trainers. What has been your experience, into making them more attracted to agriculture?
I see I'm most close to young farmers. Anyway, they need consulting, And what I can say, of course, the platform is a practice is one, and we are very open to receive people and to train the people. And as I say before, my colleague, my researcher, my scientist will be able to explain the practical things like irrigation system, nutritional system. We are talking about the densities of plants, talking about the nutritional system. We're talking about plant protection, reduce of pollution. All this involving fruit growing. We are open to be near of the youth generation.
Mm-hmm. So technically, for that practical understanding, that's how they can definitely become more interested in this.
Yeah.
Also, I think.
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure, please.
Because of the attractiveness, I can also imagine what you say is completely right. I can also imagine that young students want to have a future, especially when they live in the rural areas. And nowadays, it's quite difficult to build up a sustainable future for yourself as a younger in the rural areas. So it needs to be attractive to start working in the rural areas when they can earn a little bit more money, when they are getting good education, because that makes them worthwhile. And that's not only a value for the people themselves, but for the whole country. That you take care that these people have also a good future for themselves by meeting each other in the schools. I myself, by the way, was educated as a vocational when I was very young in the meat industry, and you see what you can, which paths you can follow in your life. Indeed. Also with vocational training.
All right. Yes, so we also have, I think, a good point that Jan could make, because he's been working with young people in the Netherlands. I'm curious, what is your approach on this question?
Well, yes, I agree with Arie that in the first place we should offer perspective to our students. There should be some dot on the horizon that they can go for beautiful jobs in an agricultural sector. There was a time that people believed that if you work in an agricultural sector that it's dirty work, that you have to get your hands dirty. Well, nowadays with all these modern technology, you don't have to get dirty anymore, but still you work outside, you work in a natural environment and doing a healthy and an honest job. I think what is important is that both in Romania and in the Netherlands, the agricultural sector has to show their innovativeness, but also that they offer good job opportunities and good career perspective. And that is for the youngsters, I think, a main factor in choosing for agricultural education. So there should be perspective, and at the same time, of course, we as agricultural institutes have to make the education very interesting and very challenging for them. Not too much sitting in the classroom, a lot in practice, really in the world of work, and in our case, that helps us to attract new students.
Indeed, indeed. And I think through the examples we've seen today and through what all of the initiatives we have explored throughout this meeting, we can see an outlook. But I think I'll bring back to your point. There has to be that example in the rural area. They should have those examples that they can look at and say, yes, I want to be like that. And we need to bring it closer to them. In this way, we can definitely see that impact spiraling through. Now, we've had a great conversation. There are many questions that have been left unanswered, but hopefully we'll get back to them on another occasion. And now it's important for us to have a little bit of a proper closing to today's discussion. And I'm wondering, what were the ideas that stuck to you the most, Arie? And maybe a short statement from our guests here in the studio. What have been the most valuable ideas that we should take from today's discussion?
What I take with me is that the collaboration is strong. It was already strong, and with this event it might be even stronger. We have now the right tools, we have a platform, we have the examples of circular agriculture, and we have also our center of excellence. So I think we have to continue the way we're going. We're on the brink of a new era. It's the third time it's been mentioned in this, and if we have a strong bond with each other, I think we can do a lot.
Couldn't agree more. Mr. Conlon.
So in horticulture domain we'll go on. I promise that.
The show will go on.
The show will go on.
Yes, thank you.
Same for everybody. For me it was a very interesting day because I find out a lot of new things. What I would like to do is to find a solution that some young people from the high schools will find a place to go in our farms to teach more about good practice in agriculture. So I will take this lesson for me and I will look for a solution.
Can they contact you?
Yes.
And hopefully in a few years we can have that as another good case practice of how we're doing this together and strengthening this partnership. Thank you very much. Once again, a big thank you to everyone that has been joining and being part of this event. On behalf of the whole organizing team that has worked very hard to make this happen, we appreciate that you found the time to spend with us. And the story is just beginning. It starts off with what we discussed today. It starts with exploring the portal, the Center of Excellence, and like we've said, connecting, both physically and online, and doing the hard work necessary to make the green transition. Thank you very much once again, and until next time.
Bye.
Bye.